Hey everybody, Dave here for the Frugal Sportsman. Today we're going to be taking you step by step through the installation of our Sportsman Work and Storage Center cabinets. So stick around because you're not going to want to miss that. Okay, so before we get started doing the install, we've got to clean up everything and get everything moved so we can get the cabinets up here. So let's have at it. Now that we've got the area cleaned up and we've got all the cabinets up here, we're getting ready to do the install, which is going to be fastening everything to the wall and pulling everything together. So we're going to start over here by the desk area because that's enclosed in on two sides. So we want to always start with the side that's going to be closed in and work towards an open end, which will be on this end. So starting over here, the first thing we're going to do is level everything up to get our marks where the desktop is going to set, and then we'll fasten it to that wall and this wall by the window, and then we'll bring this other cabinet over, fasten it to that, and just move along. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to measure the tabletop and the support underneath that total dimension, which is 4 1/16, and I'll double check it down here. 4 1/16. So what I want to do is I want to come down about a 1/4 inch space under the windowsill trim, and then I'm going to go another 4 inches, and then I'm going to put my line. So 4 1/4 from the windowsill trim, and I'll put 2 lines there. That'll be the mark, and I just need to line up the bottom while I'm underneath and put my screws through. So I have to also do that and locate where the studs are. So I'm going to locate out where the studs are and put these 2 marks in, so you can see me do that. The first thing we're going to do is make sure that this is level, and it is. So I can use this as my mark to get my back supports lined up. So we want to come down about 1/4 inch right here. So I'm going to come down 4 1/4 and put a mark, and 4 1/4 and put a mark. Okay, I'll put an up arrow so I can see it a little better. That'll be hidden by the board, so it's not going to matter. Now what I need to do is transfer this over to here, and then I can transfer it this way to make sure that it's level. There's my mark there. It's critical I get these 2 fastened, and then the other side I can adjust before I put the final screw in. Now I'm going to go along and use this stud finder to find out where my studs are. Okay, now to save time, all I have to do is measure from the corner and then transfer those marks onto the desk, drill the holes so that the screws will slide in, and then they'll be lined up exactly where they need to go. So let's go ahead and do that. So we're looking at 18.5, 32.5, and 45. Let's go transfer those. So let's transfer from here And again, I got to put it on the end. So 18 and a half. 32 and a half. And 45. Now I can just drill my holes in there. And I've selected a bit that is bigger than the screw, but by a little bit. So I can just find the center here. It's one. And the center on this mark. And drill out the third mark. I'm going to put 2 here. And 1 in the back here. I know this is in the corner, so I'm fine here. I'm using 3-inch deck screws to fasten the desk to the wall. That'll give me space for the support, the drywall, and it'll give me about 1.5 inches bite into the stud itself. So let's get these fastened. Okay, now I'll run the second screw in. Now with the desktop fastened on 2 sides, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this other cabinet, the tall cabinet, in up against that desk and fasten it to the wall first. That way I know it's where it needs to be. And I'll do that through the support up here that we installed earlier. So I need to find out where the studs are, mark them, drill, and then fasten them to the wall. Then I know everything will be plumb. If there's any difference down here at the bottom, I can always put a shim underneath there just to give it extra support. You want to make sure that your desktop is tight to your cabinet, and then what I'll be able to do is just push it against the wall after I mark the studs up here, and I'll use the backing support bracket to run a screw through to hold everything in place. And I'm going to run 2 screws in there. When I drill this through, I'm only going into the wood, not into the drywall. That gives me a good purchase when I run the screws in. Check everything for plumb. Looks good. With that in place, what I want to do is level this front. I'm going to pull it up till it's level, and I'm going to run a clamp right here to hold it in place. You can use a C-clamp or whatever you have. You just have to have speed clamps. There we go. That's level right there. Now, to fasten these to the cabinet, I'm just going to pre-drill a few holes, and then I'm going to run in the Craig screws that we used initially. They're 1.25 inches, and so they won't go through the other side of the cabinet. Plus the flanged head will give me a good grip on everything. I'm going to change out the bit to a smaller bit because the screws are not as bulky. Put the square drive bit on, and we're good to go. Again, I just want to drill to the first board, not all the way through. And that allows me to pull it from the other side. Just like that. Now we get a nice solid. What's nice about this is this trim piece doesn't go past this drawer, so it finishes up nicely when I put the other drawer in. With our larger cabinet installed and fastened, now we'll put the middle one in. This is just a matter of sliding it all the way back. It's flush with the wall. And again, I will fasten it to the wall before I fasten these together. And I'll do the same thing by clamping them. Now, in order to help me keep things in place, I'm going to put this clamp on temporarily, so when I lift it back, it'll help hold things. Kick the bottom in so it's tight. That looks good. It's flush in the front here. Down a little bit. Okay. Now I can find the studs inside the cabinet here. Put a few screws in. Remember, we're using the deck screws to fasten to the wall and the Craig screws to fasten to the cabinet. With the clamp holding these tight, I won't bother the pre-drill. I'll be able to just screw them together. There we go. And I'll just run a few screws in. I'm not worried about fastening back of the cabinet. The wall will hold it in place. There we go. Make sure you stay away from the dados. Go in between the drawers. And that makes everything nice and flush. This is all hidden back here. You'll never see any of it. So. Now the same thing I did on this taller cabinet, I'm going to do on this taller cabinet. I'm going to bring it in tight here, clamp it, level it, fasten it to the wall, and then we can put our drawers in. We'll be ready for the trim portion. So let's jump on that now. Because of a slight irregularity in the wall where this cabinet was hitting up high but not down low, what I did was I drove a shim in the back of this other cabinet after loosening the screws right here, and that pushed everything out this way, so this is flush right here. You're going to have this sometimes. You just have to work around it and compromise to make it look the best it can. Sometimes it's having the face flush, sometimes having the wall flush. So whatever you think is more appropriate for your application. After I screwed the cabinet to here together to make these flush in the front, to get rid of the shim, all I'll do, and I drove it from the bottom for this purpose, so all I need to do is take a sharp utility knife and score it very carefully so don't cut into the drywall. And then just bend it towards you and it will break off flush. Now we'll fasten this taller cabinet to the wall up there with the bracket like we did this one over here. And our install to the wall will be done. We'll have to put some trim on, put the drawers back in, and then we need to build our rod racks and we'll be finished. With the cabinets fastened together, now I'm ready to put the drawers back, and then you could leave it like this, but you'd have some edge showing on plywood. I think what I'll do is put some trim on it just to tidy things up. Make sure I swept out everything. And then one thing I just wanted to point out to you is when you put the drawers back, this is a great spot to hide things that you don't want other people to see. So if you had things you wanted to keep away from the kids to protect them from, you know, any sharp objects or things like that that you're not going to use a lot, where if you, or you know, you could just pull the drawer out and reach in and get it. This is a great hiding spot for that type of thing. So with that, we just put the drawers back in. Slide them back in. Okay, everything's fastened to the wall. Here's where we'll put our coats, hunting pants, tote storage up here, another one on the top. We'll put our rod racks in here, one on each side. We have drawers for storage and things we get at most readily. That'll be for ammo boxes, tackle boxes, another storage tote box, one on top, and of course our bench to work on, tie flies, make arrows, all the other things we want to do. The other thing we need to do is add in a shelf of some kind to hang our clothes from, right here. And I think we'll put the trim around because although it's not bad, you do see some end grain on the plywood. And so we can hide that in just a few minutes and really dress it up. At that point, it's time to load her up. And again, I'll just mark where they touch. Cut them off. get down here with the drawers, I want to just make sure I have clearance. So I'll come over in the bottom here a little bit. That's what I do. There we go. Now I just need one piece here, one down the bottom, and the trim is done. As you can see, the trim isn't necessary, but it really makes a nice detail to finish up with. Hey everybody, thanks so much for joining me today. I really liked putting that cabinets up for you, and I hope you learned something from it. I hope it was inspirational to you as well. And you know, if you've got some ideas of things that might be improved upon, or maybe you've got some ideas of your own, please put them in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you, and that way other people can learn, and I can learn myself. So I really appreciate the opportunity to bring these videos to you. And I hope that you've enjoyed the content. And if you have, I'd really encourage you to just take a minute and subscribe to our channel. We want to grow this channel with all kinds of stuff that you are interested in as a sportsman. And so make sure you hit that notification bell as well, so you'll be up to date on all the videos as soon as they come out. Guys, thanks so much for joining. In our next video, what I'm going to do is be building the fishing pole holders and show you exactly how that works, as well as installing the cabinets, and especially I'm going to show you how to organize things so you can find it real fast. So stick around for that video, be coming out shortly. Thanks so much for all you guys do for watching and supporting us, and until next time, God bless.